Let us start the chapter Plant Kingdom. In Plant Kingdom, you will find there is a 5 kingdom classification brought out by Whittaker, Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker has classified the whole living organisms into 5 kingdoms: Monera, that is unicellular prokaryotes; Protista, unicellular eukaryotes; fungi, multicellular organisms; Animalia, and plant. We are coming now with the kingdom plant. Previously, this kingdom included members of fungi, members of Monera, and even members of Protista. However, now this was based on the availability of the cell wall, having cell wall. All organisms were brought under kingdom planted. But the Whittaker system has brought out the separation of some of the members from this category of plant kingdom, like cyanobacteria that has been excluded from algae. Some members of unicellular organism have been excluded from algae or plant kingdom. Now we have in the plant kingdom only algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, Gymnosperms, and Angiosperms. Now we will go to the earlier system of classification. There are 6 different types of earlier systems of classification. Among the first one is called artificial system of classification. Artificial system of classification was brought out by Carlos Linnaeus. It is purely based on vegetative characters. It has given weightage to vegetative characters and sexual characters, particularly the androecium characters. But this system was failed because vegetative characters are subject to change due to the change in the environmental condition. Now comes to the next system is called as natural system of classification. This system was brought out by Bentham and Hooker. This system was brought out by Joseph Dalton Hooker and George Bentham. This system incorporates not only the study of external features, but also the internal features like structure, anatomy, embryology, and phytochemistry. Not only external morphological characteristics, but also internal structures, structure, anatomy, embryology, phytochemistry. Now, next system, this is the natural system is one of the famous systems. Even botanists, taxonomists follow this system. Now comes to the next famous system is phylogenetic system. This system was brought out by Ankler and Prandtl. What is phylogenetic system? This system is based on evolutionary characteristics. Evolutionary characteristics. Now comes to next famous system. Basically, phylogenetic system and natural systems are still most familiar and most followed system. Then comes to numerical taxonomy. What is the importance of numerical taxonomy? Each and every characters of an organism or a plant has been allotted number and codes. Number and codes are allotted to each and every characters. And there is a database is developed and data are processed. Based on this, we will be able to identify which plant is this, which family it belongs to. All details will be getting. Now comes to the next system of classification, cytotaxonomy. This is based on cytological information, particularly about the chromosome number and position of centromere, structure, behavior. All these are taught in cytotaxonomy. Finally, the 6th one, chemotaxonomy. This is based on the chemical constituents present in each and every plant. You can see eucalyptus. Easily you will identify by crushing its leaf and smelling it. You will find the characteristic chemicals are present in each and every plant based on the plants have been classified. So there are 6 earlier systems of classification: artificial system, then comes to natural system, then comes to phylogenetic system, fourth is numerical taxonomy, fifth is cytotaxonomy, sixth is chemotaxonomy. Now we are coming to see about algae. Algae is mainly seen, it is the lowest group of members of plant kingdom, coming under Thallophyta. What is the importance of Thallophyta is that the plant body is not divided into root, shoot, or even leaves. It is a flattened body. That is algae. Most of them are found in water. They are autotrophic, simple thalloid body, found both in fresh water and marines. Very rarely you can find them moist zones and soil and wood. Some members you will be finding growing association with fungi. Example, lichens. Algae associated with fungi, lichens. Algae associated with some animals. Particularly it is growing on the body of some animals like float beer. This is called as epizootic organism. Now, you will be finding the variability in the members, filamentous, unicellular, even you will find colonial forms volvax, filamentous form Ulothrix as Pyrogyra, even the massive body in marine algae that is called as scalps. Now coming to algae reproduction. Basically 3 types of reproduction shown by algae. Vegetative reproduction by fragmentation. What is fragmentation? Due to the water current, with the wind current, the filament, long filamentous body split into pieces. Each piece can grow and develop into new individual. Then asexual reproduction, mainly by motile spores. Motile spores are called as zoospores. Zoospores. They are called as motile spores. Why it is motile? They got flagella. Non-motile spores are produced by Spirogyra and also Chlorella. But most of the cases you will find flagellated spores. Now you will find gametes. Most of the cases gametes are flagellated, motile gametes, except in Spirogyra and again in Chlorella. How they go for sexual reproduction? Sexual reproduction is fusion of gametes. There are 3 types of fusion of gametes. Isogamy, fusion of gametes of identical size, structure, everything. We cannot identify which is male, which is female. Second is anisogamy. In anisogamy, you will find one is large, another is small. Structurally, they are same, but they are different in their size. Large one is female gamete, macrogamete, megagamete. Small one is microgamete, anisogamy. Now, oogamy. In case of oogamous reproduction, you will be finding oogamous cases, non-motile will be the female gamete. Male gametes are motile. Fusion of this. Oogamous sexual reproduction shown by 2 examples we have, volvox and fucus. Isogamous and anisogamous, we can give the example, chlamydomonas, some species. Now comes to, if you see the diagrams, you will find this is volvox, this is Ulothrix filamentous structure, Ulothrix, it is Ulothrix. This is coming under brown algae, laminaria. This is the member, you can see that fucus, this fucus is showing oogamous sexual reproduction, volvox is showing oogamous sexual reproduction. This is dictyota, brown algae. Then this is red algae, porphyra, red algae, polysiphonia. These are the members, generalized one. We are going to see economical importance of algae. Most of the algae, 50% of the total oxygen requirement is met by green algae present in the water. Not only green, all kind of algae. They carry out the photosynthesis activity, releasing oxygen, consuming the carbon dioxide. They are the main producers for aquatic environmental system, providing the food to primary producers, to the and energy-rich compound they produce. They are the food cycles of aquatic animals and many species. Commercially, we utilize some algae for our food, laminaria, sargassum, porphyra. These are 70 species which we use as food. You can also see that some members are producing hydrocolloids. There are three important hydrocolloids we should know. One is algine. Algine is produced by brown algae. Example, fucus, laminaria. Then carrageenan, this is produced by red algae. Carrageenan is produced by a red algae. This question was asked in our NEET, carrageenan. Then comes to the most important one is agar. Agar is produced by two important red algae, Gelidium gracilaria. They are used to make ice creams, jellies. Then, few unicellular category algae, chlorella. Chlorella is a green algae unicellular. It is having rich in protein. They are acting as a food supplement for space travelers. Now coming to classification of algae. Algae is classified into chlorophyceae, phaeophyceae, and rhodophyceae. What is chlorophyceae? Chlorophyceae is otherwise called as green algae. Green algae, why it is green algae? Because their filament is green in color due to the presence of the pigment chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, xanthophyll, carotenoid. These are the pigments you find. They may be unicellular, colonial, filamentous. Main pigment, chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B. You can see that they have different types of chloroplast. They show chloroplast. They show, green algae show chloroplast polymorphism. What is chloroplast polymorphism? They show different types of chloroplast. What are the shape? Discoid shape, plate-like, reticulate, cup-shaped, spiral or ribbon shape. Spiral or ribbon shaped in Spirogyra. Cup-shaped in Chlamydomonas. Reticulate in Oidogonium. Reticulate in Oidogonium. You can see plate-like in Eulothrix, discoid, cladophora. All this you can see. Now you can see here, there is a storage button-like, plate-like structure. They are called as pyrenoids. Pyrenoids are storage bodies. Main storage food is protein. There will be in some cases, center of the main food is starch. The main food is starch. In addition to starch, center region, you will find protein. Or some cases, you will find other than protein, you may find oil droplets. So main food storage is in the form of starch. It may contain protein and sheathed by starch. Main food storage is starch. Vegetative reproduction fragmentation. Sexual reproduction by the production of zoospores, motile spores. Except in Spirogyra and Chlorella, they produce non-motile spores. Now comes to sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction can be isogamous, anisogamous, or oogamous. Now what are the members belong to this family? This green algae, Chlamydomonas, unicellular, motile, Volvox, colonial, Eulothrix, filamentous, Spirogyra, filamentous, Chara, somewhat reasonably branched type of body. What is the most important thing? They do not have jacket-layered sex organs. Chara has got two types of sex organ. Antheridium is present, and there is a flask-shaped oogonium is also present, female reproductive structure. But these structures are not covered by jacket layer. That is the way it is differentiated algae from bryophytes. Coming to Phaeophyceae. Phaeophyceae, it is called as brown algae. They have the pigment chlorophyll A and chlorophyll C. In addition, they are rich in xanthophyll derivative called as fucoxanthin. If the concentration of fucoxanthin is increased, they become brownish in color. Let us see, they do not have any unicellular forms. Brown algae shows massive branched structure called as scales. Mainly, they have filamentous ectocarpus, branched filamentous, highly branched structure, sargassum. Okay, we are going to see the members, their main food. In case of green algae, it is the main food storage is starch. In brown algae, it is laminarin or mannitol. Laminarin or mannitol. You can see the vegetative reproduction. You will find that cell wall is covered with a gelatinous material called as algae. It is a hydrocolloid. In economical importance, we studied. You can see that they have a large vacuole and nucleus. These members have been showing some advanced characters than that of green algae. Their filament has got an attaching structure called as holdfast. Their body stalk-like body is called as style. And a leaf-like structure that is called as frond. Vegetative reproduction like green algae, same thing. Vegetative reproduction fragmentation. Sexual reproduction by the production of motile zoospores. And sexual reproduction, isogamous, anisogamous, or even oogamous. No unicellular forms in brown algae, but the largest type of algae. Largest algae, that is brown algae, called as macrocystis. Macrocystis. Largest algae, macrocystis. Okay, the members of this are ectocarpus, dictyota, laminaria, sargassum, fucus. All these are brown algae. Fucus is showing oogamous. Fucus is showing oogamous. Now comes to rhodophyceae. You will find rhodophyceae is otherwise called as red algae. Why it is red algae? Because of the pigment chlorophyll A and chlorophyll D. In addition, it has got a red coloration pigment called as R-phycoerythrin. R-phycoerythrin. Okay, the storage food is very important. Floridian starch. Floridian starch. It is similar to glycogen structure and amylopectin structure. You can see that they propagation, vegetative reproduction by fragmentation. Asexual reproduction by means of non-motile spores. They cannot be called as spores. Then the gametes are also non-motile. Sexual reproduction is oogamous. They have fertilization complexity because it is highly advanced category of algae. From here we are entering into the next member, that is nothing but bryophytes. Before that, you make a table quick vision. Green algae, chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B. Storage food starch. Cell wall is made up of cellulose and pectin. Then you can see they are oval-shaped gametes and spores. At the apex, 2 to 8 flagella. They are maybe fresh water, maybe brackish water, or salt water. Phaeophyceae brown algae, chloroplast AAC, there is a brown color pigment giving fucoxanthin. Storage food mannitol laminarius. Cell wall is made up of cellulose covered by algae. Two unequal, lateral, pear-shaped, that is the flagellated gamete. Gamete and zoospore identical shape. They are pear-shaped, pyriform we call it. Biflagellated, unequal flagella. One is small, one is long. Laterally attached flagella. In Chlorophyceae, flagella attached at the apical region. Now coming to Rhodophyceae, red algae, chlorophyll A and D, phycoerythrin, or phycoerythrin it is called. Then it is having the storage food Floridian starch similar to that of glycogen and amylopectin. Cellulose, pectin and polysulfate esters. In green algae, cellulose covered with the pectose mucilaginous covering. Here it is pectin and polysulfate esters. Non-motile spores, non-motile gametes. Okay. Fresh water is very rare. Fresh water is very rare. Unicellular member is also present. Mainly, you will find in the brackish or seawater, marine water. They are commonly called brown algae and red algae. Since it is present in the marine water, they are called as seaweeds. Now coming to the bryophytes. We will come across the members of the red algae, Polysiphonia, Porphyra, Gracilaria geladium. Gracilaria geladium are producing agar. Chondrus. There is an algae, we call it as chondrus. Chondrus produce carrageen, and phycocolloids, hydrocolloid. Now coming to bryophyte. Bryophytes are commonly called as the amphibians of plant kingdom because they require water to complete their life cycle. Without water, they are not able to complete their life cycle. Basically, their body is slightly developed better than that of algae. It is a thalloid body and try to develop the leaf-like structures in the advanced categories of bryophytes. Bryophytes are divided into two main groups. One is called as liverworts. In liverworts, we study two examples. Rixia. Liverworts, we study two examples. Rixia and Markantia. Rixia and Markantia. What is the basic difference? They both are flattened thalloid body. Rixia is monoecious. What is the meaning of monoecious? Both male and female sex organs are present on the same thalloid structure. That is called as monoecious. Both sex organs are present. Male and female sex organs are present. Same plant, same thalloid structure. Whereas in the case of Markantia is showing dioecious condition. You can see here the example Markantia. This is bearing Archegonia 4. So this is female reproductive structure bearing plant. This is male reproductive, Antheridia 4. Male and female reproductive structures are present on different thallus. They are called as dioecious. So Rixia is monoecious, whereas Markantia is dioecious. Dioecious in the sense they have different male and female reproductive structures are born on different plants. Now coming to the higher members of this. These are coming under liverworts. Other members are called as mosses. Example for mosses you will come across. Funaria. This is another member. We call it as sphagnum. Sphagnum is pet name is peat moss. This is the familiarity of bryophytes. Bryophytes are thallus-shaped structure. Let us see thalloid structure. Now you see that they are called as amphibians of the plant kingdom because without water they cannot complete their lifespan. Now you can see the main plant body. Main plant body in liverworts is made up of haploid structure. This haploid plant body, main haploid plant body is also called as gametophyta. Main plant body of bryophytes, like algae, this is also haploid and gametophyta. You can see that the gametophyta means what? Gamete producing plants. Sporophyta means what? Spores producing plants. Bryophyta main plant body is gametophyta bearing gamete producing structures. Gamete producing structures, male sex organ, Andredium. Female sex organ, Archegonium. Andredium produces what? Male gametes. Male gametes are biflagellate anthracoids. Biflagellate anthracoids are produced by male sex organ. Archegonia is a flask shaped which bear egg. Anthracoids swim in presence of water and reaches inside archegonium and meets the egg and fuse. Fertilization takes place. Without water, anthracoids cannot reach. This is the reason we said amphibians. Without water, they cannot complete their life cycle. Now you can see the case of the members of the zygote. Zygote will, after a period of rest, may undergo reduction division and produce. Actually, zygote do not undergo reduction division in bryophytes. In algae, they immediately undergo reduction division. Haploid spores are produced. Here they will undergo mitotic division. Zygote develops into embryonal structure, later develops into sporophyta. Sporophyta is spore-bearing structure. What is the importance of sporophyta in bryophyte? Sporophyta is multicellular, made up of three parts: food, seta, a tubular structure, and a capsule. This food seta capsule is a sporophyte. It is developed by mitotic division of zygote. Zygote is diploid, seta, food, capsule, each and every cells are diploid. They depend upon the dominant life stage of gametophyta, which is haploid. Haploid gametophyta nourish the sporophyta. Actually speaking, the sporophyta will act as a parasite. Now you will come across what is the importance of sporophyta. Sporophyta in the capsule produce spores. There is spore mother cell diploid which undergo meiosis to produce haploid spores. Spores will be liberated when formed on suitable substratum, germinate into new bryophyte. Now, what are the economical importance? Some morsels provide food for herbaceous mammals, birds, and other animals. Sphagnum, a moss, provide peat. Peat is used as a packing material because peat has got the ability to hold the water so that transshipment of materials, some germinating seeds, plantlets, seedlings can be transported within the coverage of this peat because peat has got the water holding capacity. So water is available, used as a packing material for transshipment of living materials. You can see that mosses can form, see here, they associate with lichens, mosses and lichens. They grow on the rocks, secrete some chemicals that is responsible for breakdown of rocks and minerals are released that gets mixed with the soil. Soil formation, this is called as ecological succession. They are playing bryophytes, mosses, and along with the lichens, they are playing important role in ecological succession because they colonize on the rocks and produce soil formation. They prevent soil erosion because mosses and bryophytes form green mat so that they can prevent the soil erosion. These are the importance. The members of bryophytes, two groups I told you, liverworts and mosses. Liverworts example, I told you Rixia and Markantia. Rixia is monoecious, Markantia is dioecious. In this thallus body, they produce some vegetative buds in Markantia. These vegetative green fleshy multicellular buds, they are called as gemmae. Gemmae are borne on special type of cup-shaped structure called as gemmae cup. You can see gemmae. Gemmae are green multicellular asexual buds developed in small receptacles called gemmae cups. Okay, when it falls on a suitable substratum, germinate into new thalloid structure. Now we will see the next. You can see that When the gametophytic plant body, both bryophytes and algae, their dominant plant body is gametophyta. Gametophyta is haploid. Gametophyta means gamete producing plants. In bryophytes, gamete producing structures are sex organs like antheridium and archegonium. They are also reproduced asexually by the production of flagellated motile spores called as zoospores. Okay, now after male gametes fuses with the female gamete, the antheridium produce male gamete called as anthrazoids. Anthrazoids enter into archegonium by swimming with the help of water medium. Reaches that fertilization take place. In liverworts also, the sporophyta is produced. Sporophyta is made up of three parts, as I told you: fruit, seta, capsule. Inside the capsule, spore sacs are there. Inside the spore sac, spore mother cells are there. Spore mother cell undergo meiosis. Meiosis taking place in bryophytes in the spore mother cell, producing haploid spores. Spores are the first cell for the generation of gametophytic generation. Zygote is the first cell of sporophytic generation. Now coming to mosses. Mosses is comparatively more developed category in bryophytes. They have two vegetative stages, two gametophytic stages, not gamete producing, two types of stages in the gametophyta. The first stage of gametophyta is called filamentous stage. The filamentous stage is called as protonema. Filamentous stage, first stage is filamentous. Protonema. It is a creeping, green, branched, frequently filamentous stage. Second stage is nothing but erect, leafy stage. They have erect, leafy stage. This is called as the leafy stage. So two stages in gametophytic generation they express. First stage is protonema. Lateral buds from protonema develops into secondary protonema. Secondary protonema, lateral buds develop into erect leafy stage. You can see that second stage is leafy stage, which develops from secondary protonema as a lateral bud. They consist of upright, slender, bearing spirally arranged leaves. Actually, in bryophytes, there is no true roots, true stem, true leaves. Here we use the term leaves is leaf-like structure. Do you understand this? They have multicellular branched rhizoids for attachment. They bear two sex organs. Which one? Gametophyta bear two sex organs. Male sex organ is antheridium, which produces biflagellate anthrazoids. Archegonium, flask-shaped structure bearing the female gamete called as egg. In presence of water, anthrazoids reaches archegonium, fertilizes the egg, the zygote is formed. Zygote is the first cell of sporophytic generation. They do not undergo meiosis, immediately undergo mitotic division and form massive embryonal stage, develop into the sporophyta. Sporophyta made up of fruit, seta, and capsule. Capsule contain spore mother cell. Comparing liverworts, mosses will have a better developed capsule. There are spore sacs, sporogonium. Inside the spore sacs, you will find spore mother cells. Spore mother cell undergo meiosis. Haploid spores are generated, released and germinate into new plant. Example for mosses: Funaria, Polytrichum, Sphagnum. Okay, coming to next, pteridophytes. Pteridophytes are first vascular cryptogams. Cryptogams you will find algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes. Cryptogams it is pteridophytes. In pteridophytes you will find they are mainly used as medicinal purpose, soil binders. They are even used in ornamental activity in the garden. You can see pteridophytes, you will find there are different groups. What is the importance of pteridophytes? Pteridophytes are the first vascular. They started developing the xylem and phloem. These are the first category of plants, land-established plants. They have true root, true stem, and true leaves. Bryophytes were having root-like, shoot-like, leaf-like. In algae, no root, no shoot, no leaf. Did you understand? Now coming to this, they produce the leaf-like structures bearing spores. The special leaf-like appendages bearing spores are called as sporophylls. Sporophylls contain sporangium. Sporangium is spore-bearing sac. Sporangium contains spores. Let us see now. You will find in some members many sporophylls bundled to form the strobilus or core. Two members in pteridophytes show strobilus. One is this plant. This plant is called as equisetum. Equisetum is, pect name is horsetail. And this is Selaginella. Selaginella is also showing this kind of strobilus. Both the plants are producing the sporophylls combined to form a noble structure that is called a strobilus or cone. This is Salvinia. It is a water sorrow of Kashmir. It is having large leaves. These leaves are called as macrophylls. Here the leaves are small leaves called as microphylls. This is a typical fern you come across in the pteridophytes. Now, when you see the characteristic of this, the plant body is mainly two types of plant body you find. Till algae and bryophytes, dominant stage is gametophyte. But when you enter into pteridophyte, the dominant stage of life is nothing but sporophytic generation. Sporophytic plant is having true root, true stem, true leaves. The leaves contain different types. Macrophylls or microphylls. Some of the leaf-like appendages bearing spores. That is sporangium. Such type of leaves are called as sporophylls. Now you will find sporophytic generation and gametophytic generation both are independent. Even though dominant stage is sporophyte. Now you will find these plants are pteridophytes are sporophytes are spore producing plants. They normally produces, most of the pteridophytes normally produces only one kind of spores. They are called as homospores. Homosporous condition. Whereas first reported two members in pteridophytes, very commonly knowing, they are Selaginella and Salvinia. Selaginella and Salvinia produce two kinds of spores, heterospores, macrospores and microspores. Macro large, micro small. This condition is called as heterosporous condition. There is another advancement you find in pteridophytes. That is, the megaspores and microspores germinate, give rise to female and male gametophyte. This is reporting a dioecious condition. Dioecious condition. Male and female plants are separate. Male and female gametophyte are produced separately. Now you can see the female gametophytes in these plants are retained in the parent sporophytes for variable periods. The zygote develop into young embryo take place in the female gametophyte, mother's body. This is an indication that this event is considered as precursor to seed habit. Now, this is regarding sporophyte, spore producing, heterosporous, homosporous. Heterosporous, two examples, Selaginella and Salvinia. Now, they have a gametophytic generation, independent gametophytic generation. 1 mm in size, heart-shaped, it is called as prothallus. Prothallus is the photosynthetic, gametophytic generation, independent generation. So, pteridophyte shows both the generation, gametophytic and sporophytic generations are independent. Sporophytic generation is dominant, gametophytic generation is reduced. Now, there are 4 classes. Xylophyta, example Xylotum. Lycophyta, Selaginella and Lycopodium. Phenophyta, Equisetum, Hostile. Pterophyta, Dryopteris teres adiantum. Adiantum is also called as walking fern. Coming to Gymnosperms. Gymnosperms, now we enter up to this cryptogams. Now we enter into flower type plants, flower producing category, seed producing category plants. Phanerogams. There are 2 groups in phanerogams. One is Gymnosperms, another is Angiosperms. Gymnosperms, gymno means they produce naked seeds. Sperma means seed. Sperma means seed. Gymnosperms, they produce naked seeds. Let us see why naked seed? Because there is no ovary wall. Ovary wall is absent. In angiosperm, the seed is enclosed in a fruit. Fruit is nothing but ovary wall. Here, no ovary wall. Gymnosperm includes medium-sized trees and tall trees. You know that the largest tree in gymnosperm is sequoia, redwood tree. Redwood tree is called as sequoia. It has got taproot system generally. You can see that in case of pinus, the taproot system is symbiotically associated with mycorrhiza. Symbiotically associated with mycorrhiza. In case of cycas, the roots are associated with blue-green algae like anabina, nitrogen fixing. In pinus, mycorrhiza, fungal association. Mycorrhiza will collect various nitrogen containing products, phosphorus containing products and minerals from the soil. Now, cycas is having nitrogen fixing. Now you can see, in case of gymnosperms, if you see their leaves, other than the normal leaves, it has got 2 types of leaf-like spore-bearing appendages. One is microspores-bearing appendage, that is called as microsporophyll, which contain microsporangium. They will be unite compactly arranged to form male stabili or cones. Male stabili. Similarly, the macrophylls are bearing megasporangium. They may be having female cone, either may be compact. In case of cycas, cycas is dioecious. What is the meaning of dioecious? Male and female sex organs are present on different plants. So in cycas, you find male cone-bearing plant, that is a male plant, female cone-bearing plant called as female cone present. That is the importance of cycas. Whereas in pinus, cedrus, in all these cases, both male and female cones are present on the same mother plant. The condition is called as monoecious, bisexual. Cycas is unisexual. You can see that inside this sporangium, spore producing megasporophyll produce megaspore mother cell in the megasporangium. Megaspore mother cell is diploid, which undergo meiosis that will develop into that is spores. You can see that megaspore mother cell is differentiated. One of the cells of the nucellus. Nucellus is protected by envelopes and composite structure called as ovule. Megaspore develop into a composite structure called as ovule. You can see that ovules are born on megasporophyll. Ovules are otherwise called as megasporangium. Megasporangium is present in the megasporophylls. They cluster to form female cones. You can see that megasporangium contain megaspore mother cell which undergo meiosis producing megaspores. 4 megaspores are produced. Megaspores are like this structure you can have. The structure is like this. Female cone. Female cone. It is made up of megasporophyll. Megasporophyll. Megasporophyll contains megasporangium. Megasporangia. That is nothing but sporangium, ovule. Okay. Megasporangium that is present in the nucellus. It contains megaspore mother cell. Megaspore mother cell. Up to this is diploid. Up to this is diploid. Now undergo meiosis. It undergo meiosis and produce 4 megaspores. 4 megaspores. After 4 megaspores, basically 3 degenerate. One of the megaspore enclosed within the megaspore develops into, it is one megaspore. Only 1 megaspore develops into, megaspore is developed into female gametophyta. Female gametophyta. This female gametophyta bear archegonia. 2 or more archegonia. Each archegonia contains egg in each archegonia. Archegonia. This is female gametogenesis. The whole process is called as female gametogenesis. Similarly, gametogenesis. Similarly, microsporophyll contain microsporangium. Microspore mother cell. They undergo meiosis, microspores, pollen grains, male gametophyta that will fall on archegonia, ovule beak, develops and pollen tube enter into archegonia. And male gamete fuses with the egg, results zygote. Here, endosperm, the female gametophyta develops into endosperm. Endosperm is pre-fertilization event. When male gamete fuses with egg, result the formation of zygote. Zygote develops into embryo. Embryo develops into the enclosed by a covering, that is seed is developed. Seed on germination, new plant. This is the cycle. Now we are going to see angiosperms. Angiosperms are flowering plants. Angiosperms are flowering plants. Gymnosperms, you will find it produces cones. This is a symbolification of flower. But main thing is they come under phanerogams, that is seed producing plants. So angiosperms, you will find angiosperms, the seeds are well protected, well covered by the fruit covering, fruit wall. Whereas in gymnosperm, what we call? We call it as naked seed producing plant. Angiosperms, the seed is well protected by fruit wall, ovary wall. Now you will find these angiosperms, they produce flowers. The flowers are the sexual reproductive structure in case of angiosperms. In flower, you will find 4 different words. Calyx is outermost, then comes to corolla. Corolla is brightly colored and scented, which is enclosing the essential whorls of the flower. One is male reproductive organ, stamens, androecium. Whorl is androecium, made up of stamens. The female reproductive organ is pistil or carpel. And the stamens contain anther and filament, and they contain microsporangium or pollen sac, which contain microspores, pollen grains. Pollen grains produce 2 male gametes. Okay, now you see the case of carpels. Carpel is made up of three parts: ovary, style, stigma. Stigma is receiving the pollen grains. Pollen grains contain two male gametes. It produces pollen tube. Pollen tube grow into the ovule. Ovule contain embryo sac. Embryo sac is the female gametophyte. Embryo sac contain egg. Male gamete enters into the embryo sac. One male gamete fuses with the egg, forming zygote. Another male gamete fuses with two polar nuclei present in the embryo sac. Embryo sac is 7-celled and 8-nucleated condition. 8-nucleated condition. Two polar nuclei fuses with one of the male gamete, forming triple fusion, triploid cell, develop into endosperm. Male gamete fuses with egg to form zygote. Zygote develops into embryo, and triple fusion, triploid cell develops into endosperm. Endosperm nourishes the growth of embryo in angiosperm. Then ovule develops into seed. Seed will be germinated into new seedlings, young plants. If you take the case of embryo sac, that structure you see the embryo sac. Embryo sac is 7-celled. You will find this is the chala cell region. There are three cells called as antipodals. Antipodals. There are three cells here. This is called as egg apparatus. These three cells are called as egg apparatus. Central egg and two synergids. Nerve cells or synergids. In the center, you will find two polar nuclei. Polar nuclei. Okay. Now, male gametes when enter into, two male gametes are entered. One of the male gametes fuses with this polar nuclei, another male gamete fuses with the egg, resulting zygote and primary endosperm nucleus. This is called as egg apparatus. Two synergids and egg together called as egg apparatus. Egg apparatus. Okay. Now you will find coming to the cycle. You can see here, in case of angiosperms, one male gamete fuses with the egg to form zygote, that is called as syncoming, generative fertilization. Another male gamete fuses with two polar nuclei, triploid cell, triple fusion, triploid cell, develops into endosperm, that is vegetative fertilization. Since it contains inside the embryo sac is female gametophyte, contain two types of fertilization. That is the reason it is called as double fertilization. Double fertilization. Did you understand? Synchrony and triple fusion. Together we call it as double fertilization. This is the cycle you come across. You will find this is the sporophytic plant. A sporophytic plant has got root, stem, leaves and all, flowers. Flowers contain male structure, reproductive structure and female reproductive. This is stamen, this is carpel. They produce microsporangium, microspores, pollen grains. This is producing embryo sac. This is male gametophyte. Pollen grain, germinated pollen grain is called as male gametophyte. And this is female gametophyte. Develop into embryo, embryo develop into seed, seed is germinate. Now we are coming to the last. You will find three types of cycle. Haplontic life cycle, diplontic life cycle and haplodiploid. Haplontic life cycle is shown by most of the algae. What is the importance of this? You can see that this is the sporophytic part. Zygote is a single cell representing sporophyta. Sporophyta is represented in algae, a single zygote. Zygote, unlike any other plants, immediately undergo meiosis, produce haploid spores. Spores are the first cell of gametophytic generation. Spores germinate into gametophyte, the plant body, filamentous or branched plant body. Gametophyte produces two type of gametes by the process called as gametogenesis. No archegonium is found in algae. The sex organs are not covered by protective jacket layer. Gametogenesis, two types of gametes are produced. Maybe male gametes and female gametes. Some cases isogamy. Some cases oogametes. When they fuse, two gametes fuse to form zygote. That is called as syngamy. This kind of life cycle, the simplest life cycle, where the major part of the plant body is gametophyte, dominant gametophytic generation, that is called as haplontic, shown by algae. Some exceptions are there. Diplontic means what? Just opposite of this. Here the dominant stage is gametophyte, whereas in diplontic, dominant stage is sporophyte. The sporophyta, they produce spores, they start from zygote. Zygote develop into diploid sporophyta. The spore of mother cell will be produced, undergo meiosis, haploid spores will be produced. Haploid spores germinate to form gametophyte. In case of diplontic life cycle shown by Gymnosperms and Angiosperms, gametophytic generation purely depend upon sporophyte. Now comes to, this is example, Gymnosperms and Angiosperms, and there is an algae. Algae is fucus, very important, brown algae. Now you will see the haplodiplontic. Haplodiplontic is nothing but both are equally distributed. This is sporophytic generation, this is gametophytic generation, alternatively coming. Sporophytic generation starts from zygote, diploid zygote. Zygote develops into embryo, embryo develops into diploid sporophyta. Sporophyta, what is the name of sporophyta? Spore producing plants. They produce parenchyma, spore mother cells. Spore mother cell undergo meiosis, producing haploid spores. Haploid spores develop into gametophyta. Gametophyta produces sex organs like antheridium and archegonium. Antheridium produces male gamete called anthracoids. Archegonium produces female gamete, that is egg. In pteridophytes, anthracoids are multiflagellated. In bryophytes, anthracoids are biflagellated. In pteridophytes, sporophytic generation is dominant. Gametophytic generation is highly reduced, but both are independent. In bryophyte, sporophytic generation is depending upon the dominant gametophytic generation. So, sporophyta acts. There is an alternation of generation. After sporophytic generation, there will be a gametophytic generation. After gametophytic generation, there will be sporophytic generation. This is called as haplodiplontic, shown by bryophytes and pteridophytes. Plus you will find some members. Polysiphonia, you will find here. In this case, let us see this. You can see here, diploid sporophyte is represented, dominant, independent, photosynthetic. You can see that haplodiplontic condition. Now you can see most algal genera are haplontic. Some examples, Ectocarpus, Polysiphonia, they are haplodiplontic. If you go to haplodiplontic, bryophytes and pteridophytes plus Ectocarpus, a brown algae, Polysiphonia, a red algae, Polysiphonia, and kelps, they are coming under haplodiplontic life cycle. This be end our chapter Plant Kingdom. You can see here the wordings very perfectly you can see. You will find Haplontic life cycle, if you see, in sporophytic generations, zygote, there are no free living sporophyta. Meiosis in zygote result, formation of haplospores, haplontic, algae, chlamydomonas, spirogyra. Diplontic, major and gametophytic generation is highly reduced, sporophyta dominant. This is haplodiplontic. Sporophyta is multicellular, highly developed in pteridophytes. In bryophytes, sporophyta depend upon gametophyta. Gametophyta is the dominant stage. That's all.